have had just the weirdest experience also. So last weekend, my cat, her name is Andromeda, but we call her Drama. She was just a sweetheart of a kitty, of course, and decided that I am not a very good hunter, which I understand. That's not my gig, like it was when I was younger. Um, when I'm hunting, I'm generally in the meat section at the grocery store. So, or in the chocolate section because chocolate's my thing. Um, the occasional salad or donut, that too. And it, anyway, so I hear the cat comes in and I hear this wee, 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 wee over in the corner. It's like, great, she caught a mouse. She brought in a mouse. So that's just gross, but, she's a cat. And, whatever. So, and then she comes in the living room and she drops this bat, and he's curled up on his back with his little feet and his hands up in the air, like, oh my gosh, and just this panicky look on his face. So I grab my staff, which is next to the patio door, and I was like, dude, if you're gonna live, you're gonna grab this and you're gonna go outside. Period. That's all that's gonna happen. And so I got him outside. He flew away. It's like great. And then I had a road trip on Sunday. I did a 25-hour road trip, which was just, I'm too old for that, I think, anymore. So that's probably my last 25-hour road trip, I have to say, straight through. I was up at 4, on the road by 5, drove to the coast, dropped off my nephews, picked up my son, and drove back. And I stopped a couple times for like half hour, 45 minutes, and I think I took a 2-hour nap, 1-hour nap, something like that at one point. And literally, I got home and was in bed at 6 a.m. So 25 hours. It was just an adventure. But in the process, on the way, going through town and leaving, I hear this thunk, and I look down, and I hit a bat with my car, and I was devastated because I like bats, and I don't like hitting things. That's not. I don't know. It's just I felt bad. I said a little prayer, and it it went away, which is good, really good, because it was going to freak me out if it was going to be stuck to my window the entire time. And then today at work, we I catch something out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, what on earth is that? And here this shadow goes flying by, flying by. It's like, oh my gosh. And lo and behold, there's a bat in my office also. And he's just flying around, kind of panicky, which I don't blame him because he's in the office and he's not in customer service, so freaking out a little bit. And so my son caught the bat and let him outside. So yeah, that's 3 bats. 3 is my magic number. So just out of curiosity, it's like, what do bats symbolize? So, with bats, so just so you know, bats are, let's see, what do they mean? I had to Google this because as my computer was coming up because I'm technologically slow today. So bats are, what are they? They're insectivores, yes. So bats often represent death in the sense of letting go of the old things and bringing in the new things. They are symbols of transition, of initiation, and the start of new beginnings. Um, so to the Native American tribes in the northwestern United States, which is where I live, ironically, bats are symbols of diligence, while in the Great Plains, where I'm from, they imparted wisdom on their people. And in the southwest of Mexico, they're representatives of death and rebirth. And because they tend to go underground in the early morning and then appear again each night in a noisy horde, they're reborn again every night, flooding out from their caves. So that's pretty cool. Um, they're often, since they use echolocation, they generally, even when they're flying in huge hordes, they don't hit one another, which is good. And using echolocation. So this ability is linked with the gift of clairaudience, which awakens the ability to hear spirits in some beliefs. Because of their echolocation and maneuvering in the dark, bats represent the perception of things that others cannot see. That's pretty cool too. And then the Mayans had a bat god called Camazotli, who was said to have tested human souls with a large sword. This is slightly negative since the bat is associated with violence. In the biblical tradition, bats were believed to be messengers of Satan. The Puritans believed that if a bat flew close to someone, somebody was trying to bewitch them. The Chinese, however, view the bat as a symbol of happiness. So, depending um, on your path, your tradition, the bat can mean many, many things. And so yeah, that's pretty crazy. So yeah, I encountered the bat, and so 3 of them. Maybe the bat is my spirit animal. I mean, that could be a thing. Absolutely could be a thing. So what does that say? Bat as, I'm not wearing my glasses. Not as pets, because no spirit animals. Can't type. Yes. By the way, the lines are open. I'm just all higgledy-piggledy today, I'm telling you. So the phone line, if you want to call in, is 213-233-3998. Again, 213-233-3998. Or if you're across the pond and in the UK, that number is 44-203-393-2871. Again, 44-203-393-2871. And before we get into the spirit animals, just shout out to the crews in the chats. Looks like we got Josie. Hi, Josie. And Blacktree. Hello. Hello. And Cameron. Hi, all. And over here, I'm looking at TFR Wookie. Hello. Matthias. Hello, Brent Thomas of Paranormal Portal and Casual and All One. So hello, all. And looks like Intrigued. And let's see. Yes, Batwoman. Yes, if nobody sees them, are they just bats? Yes. So, yeah. It's just, I don't know, pretty cool. So, what do bats mean as spirit animals? It says bat magic. Batwoman. Yeah, sure. So, in ancient Rome, there was a collection of fables, much like those of Aesop, collected by a writer by the name of Phaedrus. And one of these stories, The Birds and the Bat, tell of a bat trying to avoid getting involved in the battle between land animals and birds. The bat, savvy thing that he is, sits on the sidelines, neutrally observing until he knows which side is the winning one. The god Mars declares that birds are in fact the victors, so that is where the bat chooses to cast his allegiance, rejecting the animals of the land. Of note, the bat is in fact a mammal as far as scientists are concerned and not a bird at all. So, yeah. Of course, the bats are associated with Bram Stoker, so, yeah. When I told my son, because he was in the other room, I said, "Hey, son, are you wearing your hoodie?" He goes, "Well, yes." I said, "You should bring it here so I can borrow it." And he's like, "Why?" Because he's 6 foot and of a significantly different size than I am. And he was just like, "Okay." And then so he shows up with his hoodie, and I said, "Oh, all right." I say, "Yeah, bring your hoodie and put on your glasses." And I hear this total confusion from him, which was hilarious. And he's like, "Okay, sure, yeah." And anyways, he comes in, and I said, "Can you catch the bat as it's flying around?" And I said, "Dracula just came to visit, of course." And he goes, "What?" I said, "It's Dracula. He came to visit, blah, blah, blah." it was funny. I thought he was going to hurt himself laughing. So, yeah, it was fun. So, yeah, so when a bat flies by, absolutely, I'm seeing it's, the bats in general are a sign of change. Yes, they're generally associated with Samhain, just because that's when there's a lot of outdoor fires, and that lures in insects, of course, and so the hungry bats go looking for the insects, so you see them, and yeah, and not the most bats really aren't the Hollywood bats, the blood sucking turn into vampires, etc., that kind of thing. They're generally eating the mosquitoes and the little bugs that you don't want. Which, to be honest, one of the projects I have for myself and Minnie Paisley is to build a couple bat houses, because they're really good at eating the little flying bugs that we don't necessarily like, and I am okay with that. They can have all the mosquitoes. They have my share, your share, my cat's share, all of them. Period. Don't want them. And Blacktree, have you never seen a bat? Really? I apparently will have to catch you one because they're coming to me of their own free will. And yeah, I'll give you one. Yes, 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 yes. So hi. Now is it Circe or is it Kirk? Um, there. I'm gonna have to get that pronunciation correct. So tonight I wanted to talk about something that is semi-linked actually to my guest tomorrow night. So my guest tomorrow night is going to be talking about energy work and manipulation. So I'm super stoked about that. And oh, thank you, Kirk. Hi, Weird Desk. And so when witches get together or pagans get together and we're in a circle and we're chanting or raising energy for to do a working or something like that, that's often called a cone of power. And so what is that? And a cone of power is literally the raising and directing of a spiral of psychic energy in a ritual and spellcraft. The raising of psychic energy is intrinsic to the ritual and magic in general, and many methods have been used to do this since ancient times, really, truly, many times. And I gotta tell you, in researching this, and in researching any of my show material, it's been kind of an adventure because so much of the material out there is not necessarily pagan or witchcraft. It's actually World of Warcraft or Harry Potter esque. And so trying to figure out what's real and what's not has been interesting. It really has been. So one of the things I wanted to talk about just real briefly is how to determine what's legit and do and what resources to use. So weird Witchvox is a pretty good resource. The aminos are pretty good, as that's where I'm at. Generally use Facebook groups. There's a lot of them out there, but generally if you're searching online, use good internet practices. Practice safe internet, and you do really want to pay attention to that. So just do your research, do your due diligence. Don't be afraid to ask people if there's an esoteric shop near you. Talk to those folks too. Generally speaking, people are not out to harm you. They're fine with sharing information. And go do some public groups. So that's why Witchvox or online Facebook, that kind of thing, you can often find advertisements for local meetups, and that's really good because you can, or public meetups, because you can go to a public place to hang out and say hi and get to know people in a public venue. For instance, Black Tree and I, we have a circle and that we're kind of getting up and going and here locally in North Idaho. And this month in September, we're meeting on the 29th in Ponderay at the Starbucks, I think 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I think it'll be fun. It'll be good. And it's just kind of a public thing, I think a public service partly, just to allow other folks that might have questions about paganism in general to meet up with us. So it's that safe place. So practice safe internet when you're trying to meet up with like-minded people, even as a solo practitioner. And then, don't be afraid to put up your walls, your boundaries, that kind of thing. That's good for you. And just don't build them out of, titanium. Don't forget to allow people in later. But totally lost where I was going with that. Anyways, practice safe internet and ask questions. So, anyways, hello Butterfly, Zelda fan, Multivideos. How's it going, Butterfly? So, cone of power, yes. And it would go back to researching this. Sorry, I'm a little bit squirrely this evening. Holy cow. Apparently, the caffeine I've had today has just suddenly hit, and I am just, yeah, just all over the place. So, in researching the Cone of Power, a lot of the information out there is actually from not necessarily pagan resources, but um, other religions. There's a lot of information that Christianity has out there for paganism, which is weird to me because they're not pagan. So yeah, it's interesting, and so their interpretation of paganism has been quite interesting. So when they're talking about Cone of Power, the first time I read that, I had to laugh, then go back and read it again, because basically they're saying pagans get in a circle, we dance, go crazy, go wild, have an orgy, get exhausted, and fall down, and that means the ritual succeeded. That's not really the way it works, but I just thought it was funny, had to share. So, essentially, people who are trying to create a cone of power, though, in reality, either stand in a circle to form the base of the cone, or sometimes sit, but generally stand. And in some rituals, they may connect to each other physically by holding hands, or they can simply just visualize that flow of energy around them and flowing to the other members of the group. And as the energy is raised, whether by chanting, singing, or other methods like dancing, a cone forms above the group, and eventually it reaches its apex above. Now, in many magical systems, it's believed that this energy continues on past to the point at the top of the cone, traveling out infinitely into the universe. So it really does depend a little bit on your tradition, your path, and also whomever is leading the circle and what their visualization is and what they're doing to guide you. So once that cone of power or energy is completely formed, that energy is then sent out en masse, directed towards whatever magical purpose is being worked upon. Whether it's a healing magic, protection, or some other form of magic, the group typically releases all of that energy in unison, which is why a lot of chants have a basic where they start and there's a crescendo, and when it hits that peak, then it comes back down and it's either stops at that peak or goes back to a much lower rate or pitch or intensity. And it's just an auditory way to mark the progress of the ritual. So, um, let's see. So, what is very consistent though is that once the energy flow is stopped, the energy levels are allowed to return to the ground by the leader of the circle, and all of those present go through the process of grounding and centering themselves, so they don't get lost in that circle. Now, that energy is often in a cone shape. It's very visible to those who might have a clairvoyant sight. And like I said, that energy is very much controlled by the priestess or priest. And, you know, before you start doing the ritual, of course, you want to make sure everybody understands what the intention is or what you're setting or what you're planning to do. And the cone of power actually is related to a physical representation, which is generally the hat. You know, everybody assumes everybody wears which is wear the hat, you know, the big brim and the cone. So some of them are kind of interesting. So the witch's hat is a little bit more PC for practitioners. It's so the witch's hat has been ascribed to witches in wood carvings. It's been used as an identifier of Jews, the occasional dunce hat, that kind of thing. But generally, it's used as it was used as in the past as a representative of strength, but in the burning times, it became used as a symbol of negativity and derogatory, making fun of people, and it's been a symbol of oppression. So it's an interesting tool, interesting representation. Personally, it's a hat in my world. I really do feel it's a hat. It is what you make of it. It's just a tool like anything else. A hammer is a hammer is a hammer, for instance. You can either you can use a hammer to hit nails. You can use a hammer to hit rocks and split rocks, or you can go on a rampage and use a hammer for really negative things. It's just a tool. The result of it is, or what it does, is really up to the wielder and the user. So the the witch's hat, of course, though, has had a very long-standing association with both divine and heavenly powers, and is both a physical object and a symbolic one. And the cone-shaped hat can be considered the basis, actually, of the cone of power. And this is also just a really powerful tool when it comes to rising and directing energy. Think of it as a pointer. So whether working in a coven or alone, the cone of power is a very powerful visualization for raising energy in a ritual. So the witch's hat is just a symbol of that cone of power. And the ritual space, whether it's denoted by coven members or a sacred space marked by a solitary practitioner, is very representative of the witch's hat, while the visualized cone of energy forms the conical point itself. So it's real, and it's also a visualization thing. So it works in both ways, or for a couple things. And then, let's see. In parts of ancient Syria, for instance, the cone was the symbol of Astarte, the Phoenician goddess of motherhood, fertility, and war, and tall conical hats were associated with magicians and the folk witches of old. So the cone is associated with the circle, the symbol of the sun, unity, eternity, and rebirth, and then with the triangle is associated with the elements of the pyramids and represents the upward spiritual aspirations of all things. So the triangle also represents the number 3, which represents the energy of creation and is associated with the triple goddess. So it's another one of those situations where something that's representative of witches and pagans in a good way was turned into a tool of mockery and derision. And then now, as paganism is becoming more prevalent again in the world and people are recognizing it more, it's becoming more recognized as a tool that's good. And just like that, we are at the bottom of the hour. It is just about that time. So we're going to go to break, and we will be right back. And we'll talk a little bit more about energy, and then call in if you want. I'll see you in a bit.
Sisters of the shining moon, heaven, earth, and sea, I call upon you in this hour, bring magic unto me. Brothers, oh, the cauldron cries, it singeth unto me the songs of Mother Goddess and of Father in the tree.
Hello, my lovelies. And if I'm getting feedback, I'm sorry. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing wrong there. Um, so yeah, it's um. So hi, Day. Yes, you'll have to tell me about the bat that flew into your house. I do think so. I think bats are awesome. They really are. They're super cute. I would rather have a bat as a spirit animal, for instance, than a spider. So, anyways, on that note, this is Paisley. You're listening to the Spaces Between, and I am really just ADD today. I'm sorry, folks. Thank you for listening. And if you want to give me a call, the phone lines are open. It is 213 3998, or if you're across the pond, it's 44203 393 2871. If you want to send me an email, if you got a story idea, or if you just want to share something, or you want something shared, or looking for a little guidance direction, I totally get it. My email is wildpaisley@gmail.com. That's WILDEPAISLEY at gmail.com. And yeah, love getting feedback from y'all. Thanks, Black Tree, for all you're doing. Someone's got to keep track of me. You might need a raise, dear. I'm just saying. Just saying. Yeah. Um, anyway, so we're talking about energy work just a little bit and the cone of power, because I think it's important for folks to understand that, yes, a cone of power is a real thing. Yeah, the witch's hat is very much representative of that, and it's even though it's often associated in a negative way, it's actually not. Yes, coffee. So generally speaking, a cone of power is associated with a circle or a group. But that does not mean that you cannot do it individually, because you can. Um, so it's a little different, sort of, but not. So you're raising energy. So in that respect, it's the same. You need to make sure you set your intention before you do any working, just like I always say. And raising energy alone can really be just as powerful as raising it in a group. It's just different. So keep in mind that there's many ways of raising a magical or psychic energy, including chanting, singing, dancing, drumming, physical exercise, even sex. Sex has a great energy to it. So try a variety of different methods to see which one's going to work best for you specifically. And what's comfortable for one practitioner may not work for another one. And then that's okay. That's part of what is so awesome about us being pagan and having slightly different paths. We can kind of do what works best for us. So yeah, make sure you're experimenting a bit to find out what's going to be best for you specifically. Again, visualize it, raise that energy, and direct it toward, up, and then to whatever it is that you need that energy for. So um, we had a get together last month, and just a group of us up here that we've been meeting for coffee. And so we actually decided to do a kind of a potluck, and we did a quick circle and small ritual. It was mostly not so much directed as healing or to do anything for anyone specifically. Um, it was mostly for just kind of a get together, a fellowship. Because one thing Christians do definitely have is fellowship. They've got that one in spades. They have potlucks and get-togethers. They go to church all the time. As an independent or solo practitioner, it's a little bit harder to get that done and to do that. And so a lot of us miss out on that fellowship. So that was the goal of the ritual, is just fellowship and coming together and having a good time and getting to know one another. And I think that's awesome. I think that was the importantest thing. that we could have done. So the next thing I just want to talk about is a little bit more on the energy side of things, and because I think it's important, because everything in life has energy. It binds us, it connects us, it works with us or against us, and magic is just the science, actually, of energy manipulation. So the energy you work with is created by you and then is manipulated by your intent. Um, so, of course, there's many ways to raise energy for your workings, your meditation or protection. So when you light a candle for your next party, you can say a little prayer, so birthday parties. And as you light the wick, just ask the divine or your guides um, to help you create a happy, positive energy to benefit the success of your party. Nothing is trivial and nothing is too big. You have an effect on the energy patterns of the universe. Just make sure you set your intention first, as both as an individual and especially more so as a group. And so, how do you go about raising energy for your workings? Well, through concentration and visualization, pretty much. That's it. Um, I mean, really, it is that bloomin' easy. Um, Einstein himself said, "Thought is energy. To create it, use your imagination." And really, that is all there is to it. Now, we have a lot of tools that we use as pagans and witches. We don't have to. Some people use the athame, staff, wand to, note where the circle is, or they might draw it out with chalk, or lay it out with a rope, or something like that. Any of that. It's just, it's pretty straightforward to create the visualization, then and then create the energy. Use your imagination. Go wild with it. And often we get so wrapped up in the big picture of things that we forget that the little steps are often important. And just like if someone's having a rough time of it, I will often say, meditation. Have you done that? Have you tried grounding yet? It's kind of like the pagan version of the IT desk. Have you turned your computer off and on? So it's the same thing. It really, really is. So when you're trying to visualize balanced energy, and to be honest, any working that you attempt should be done with a balance of both upper and lower energy, because being too far out there, of course, is just as bad as being too grounded. So you want to be balanced somewhere, in between. Now, not every working is going to have the same balance of energy. Think of it as volume on a speaker, or when you're listening to music. Some songs, you got to crank up the tune, crank up the music, because you need more bass, you need more energy to it. And some, it's just overpowering, so you have to turn it down. And it'll vary from one song to the next, and even from one day to the next. So depending on what your purpose is, or what your focus is. So how to create balanced energy? Well, first off, get comfortable. Either sit or stand, whatever it is you're going to do. Close your eyes. Say a prayer to your guides. Ask your teachers. And ask your divine, your God, your goddess, to assist you in the process. Ask for some help. Take in a couple of deep breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And breathing itself is very meditative. So, and with each breath, imagine the white light of the divine, that energy entering your body, in through your nose, and out through, drifting down to your solar plexus, that's where your rib cage meets the bottom of your chest. And then exhale out through your mouth, and imagine the gray smoke of all of your stress, your anxiety, your negative emotions, just the mishiva that just is dragging you down. Just visualize it just as you exhale it out, and it's going out into the universe, where it'll dissipate and it won't harm anyone. So now imagine a silver cord starting at your solar plexus again and moving down to down your spine, and see that cord travel through your root chakra, past the floor of the ground, through the bedrock, and down into the molten lava of the earth, and until that cord reaches the bright yellow glowing center core of our planet. And then see your cord plug into that, just like you're plugging in your phone or your light or your computer or whatever. So just like an electrical cord plugging into the wall socket, right in there. Now, Visualize the energy of Mother Earth traveling up that cord. And then just before it enters your body, see it slow down and flow up your spine and into your solar plexus. And then with each breath, see the energy from Mother Earth grow and expand. And just and see it grow until it pushes outside of your body. And then pushing out any leftover stresses or anxieties out of your soul and your being until you're just fully engulfed into that light. And it'll feel like a warm energy force field around your body. And you can also push that energy out to include it in your working circle or any tools you've got set up for your ritual. And then imagine a silver cord now starting at your solar plexus and moving up your spine. And it's going to travel up your neck and out the top of your head through your crown chakra, and see it travel through the ceiling or to the sky or up to the sky if you're outside. And watch it, visually watch it move up through the atmosphere, past the moon, and into the universe, the divine universe. And when you can no longer see the cord, just imagine the divine energy as a series of, white lightning bolts or white plasma balls or whatever attaching themselves to the cord, and then energize the cord, and it's sending that electricity downward back to you. And you might, visualize it as an electric tree or a lightning bolt, seriously, or many branches and limbs from the divine traveling down to you, kind of like Yggdrasil, very much so, to be honest. And just see the energy of the divine quickly traveling down your silver cord, and then just before it hits your root chakra, or your crown chakra, see it slow down and gently flow in, and then down into your spine and through your solar plexus. And then with each breath, see the energy of the divine grow and expand, intertwining with the energy of Mother Earth. Now, don't mix the energies into one color or substance. See them as separate energy flows working together in harmony. Now, for those that need visualization, maybe the energy from the earth is chocolate ice cream. The energy from the universe is vanilla ice cream, and you're going for a swirl cone. Okay? Sorry, it's a visualization, but it works. They're going to work together in harmony. So see that divine energy grow just like you did from Mother Earth, and pushing outside your body, pushing any leftover stresses or anxieties out of your soul and your being, until you're fully engulfed in this energy, like a force field around your body again. And you can just keep doing this, and you're going to push it out to your altar and onto your tools, your working space, and use that combined energy to do whatever your working is, or whatever it is that you plan for the ritual. You might imagine the energy flowing from your hands to form whatever you've planned. You might see it in your tools. It might go into your cauldron, for instance, or onto your wand or your staff. And you can use it to energize any potions or spells or whatever ritual you're working. And then add your own energy to this. Just add it as a visualization for yourself. You're generating your own energy in your solar plexus, and you're intertwining it with the other two. Excuse me. And so if you're doing like healing or something, this should be for those that are a little bit more advanced, of course. And you're going to want to see their cord of energy as a different color entirely. Often it'll be like greens or blues, depending on their personal aura. And so just, you're visualizing it, of course, and then when you're done, release that energy back up into the universe and back down into the earth, and thank Mother Earth and the divine, your spirits and guides, for aiding you. It's real basic. A lot of words, but really, really, it is basic. It's all mental. You're visualizing things. So, hello, Aether Archives. Dawn, how's it going? So yes, just, and yeah, you're doing your twist cone ice cream. You got your chocolate, your vanilla, and you got your cone. You're combining all these things to be just a really good energy to move forward. So yeah, that's really basic as far as the energy work, or calling the cone of power. And you can use that, to connect with your guides. You can use it to do your ritual, that kind of thing. And but regardless of what you're doing, make sure you are thanking the guides, your spirits, your deities, when you're releasing that energy, because they've done a lot of work for you. They're really, really working with you. And if you're working with a circle, make sure you're spreading that gratitude with each other, and keeping that energy flowing. And don't let go of it. It'll give you just a warm, fuzzy feeling. It may exhaust you because there's an energy transference, but you may feel really good. So, on that note, if you do want to call in, because the lines are open, that number is 213-233-3998. Or if you're in the UK, please call 44203-393-2871. And just one more quick shout out to those that are visiting in the chat rooms. I see Weird Desk and Black Tree and Don Longbeard of Aether Archives, Zelda Fan or Butterfly, Kirk, Weird Desk, Cameron, hello, hello. And then in TFR land, we have Black Tree and Brent Thomas from Paranormal Portal, and Matthias. So hello. Hope everybody's doing great on this lovely, lovely Friday evening. So, in the coming weeks, let's see. So tomorrow I've got a guest. We're talking about energy work, and it's more like you're feeling your auras. I don't know if you've ever tried to feel your aura, but it's there. And then let's see, next weekend, what's going on next weekend? Oh, Friday the 13th is next weekend. So we will be live, of course, here Friday the 13th. That'll be fun. We might see what I can find for Friday the 13th traditions or mythos. And then the 21st, that weekend, I've got something else going on. Gosh darn. My month is just full. And then the 28th, for those of you that see us on Facebook, Chris and Cherie Gio and has invited myself and Don and Brent and a couple other folks. We're all going to get together and hang out, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a live cast from the Geos. I think it'll be fun. I think it's going to be a grand time. Lots of good energy. And that'll be the night of the new moon, so that's a good time to set intentions. So I do believe we got full moon coming up next week too. So lots of fun energy happening on Friday the 13th. And then, holy cow, can you believe it? We are looking at Samhain already. I cannot wait. October is my very, 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 very favoriteest month. It really is. Always has been. I love the colors. I love the energy. I love the seasons in general, honestly. But October is by far my favoriteest, just because the energy's changed. Mostly it's frozen once, and the mosquitoes have gone away. But also that first freeze makes apples extra crisp, and they're really good to turn into cider, or apple butter, or applesauce, or apple pie, or anything else. I love to cook. I'm a kitchen witch. I cook a lot. I'm just saying. And then let's see what else is going on. Let's see. My birthday's in October. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. If anybody wants to send me a birthday gift or just birthday wishes. And then yeah. The wheel of the year just turns. It seems like the older I get, the faster it goes. I just never have enough time to get done everything I want to get done. So we are rapidly approaching Samhain, which the veil gets a little thinner. So and sorry about the noise in the background. I've got an older pupper, and he's not feeling very good this evening. So he's my big Diego dog. I think we have to go to a vet next week. So if you got some happy thoughts to send him, I would greatly appreciate it. Day, yes, I know you've got spring, fresh green grass. I love that. And, the flowers blooming and the burst of new life. I can't wait for spring again already. So, yeah. And then winter. Love winter. So, anyways, so yes, it'll be a good time. Just the time goes by. And then Minnie Paisley, it was her first week of school. Oh my gosh, can you believe that? And she had a really, really good first week of school. And it was just, I don't know, cannot believe it. She's already in kindergarten. So, yes, Day, as you're in experiencing spring and your rains, be safe, no flooding. And let's see, what else do we have going on? Oh, the website. Sorry, guys. I've been just insanely busy and my brain not functioning, as you've noticed this evening. I will hoping to have the website up and running. And so my store, which has been on Etsy, is going to be transferred into the website, just because it's easier to manage, just one place. I can only juggle so much. I only have two hands, and yeah, it just is. And then let's see what else is new. I don't know. So I guess as we're moving into Samhain, if you guys wanted to send me emails or something, I want to talk about spirit animals a little bit more, and working with the spirits and honoring our ancestors, because I do believe that the Hispanic culture tends to celebrate Day of the Dead, and that's when they're honoring their ancestors. And that really um, connect with me in my heart, my emotions. And so I really think that honoring our ancestors is a big thing. So moving into through September and into October, I want to talk a little bit more about, um, what, who's your spirit guides, your spirit animals, of course. How do you connect with your elders? Not necessarily elder worship, but elder honoring. And then I'm hoping to get Deb on again this month, if at all possible, because I love talking to Deb. Deb's awesome. And hopefully, if everything works out right, tomorrow with Ollie, then uh, we'll be able to do a couple different parts when it comes to energy work and auras and that kind of thing. So, um, what else did I have to talk about? I'm kind of running out of stuff tonight because my brain is just my brain just is not firing on all cylinders, guys. I haven't had chocolate all week. That's what the problem is. I just figured it out. Yeah, I think that's what it is. No chocolate. And I'm sorry. So, yeah. Um, email me. It's Wild Paisley, WILDEPAISLEY at gmail.com. I want to hear about who your spirit animals are, and let's see, and what you do to honor your elders. And I think we're gonna try to do a little bit of healing on Mr. Diego here. Poor guy. Um, oh man. And then, yeah, I don't know. I think this is a time of transition. I think. I know, Day. I would love if we could, Willy Wonka me some chocolate through the email. That would be awesome. Um, I would totally sign up for that. Um, the I just had a thought and I got distracted by chocolate. Um, I think also I want to move forward and talk a little bit more about divination tools. Not necessarily tools per se, but what I use. So I haven't done tarot myself very much just because I haven't been called to it, but I want to learn more, so I have that skill. And I do actually use runes, though. I pull a rune often just to touch base with myself, and then readings as needed. And so I want to talk more about the runes. I use the Elder Futhark runes and I made my rune tokens that I use. So I think that'll be interesting because I want to talk a little bit more about the individual meanings of the each rune, and then interpreting them. And maybe from there we'll talk about sigils just a little bit because rune work tends to lead into sigil work pretty easily. And as we're moving into winter and getting ready for the fall, I think and moving through the fall and into winter. Blah. I want to as we prepare ourselves for the coming season. So yeah, I think it'll be good. So yay, Black Tree, of course, um, is doing tarot. She's doing some tarot stuff. So if you connect with her through Facebook, or if you reach out to me, I can get you your contact information. She's starting to do some live readings, and I think that's super cool. And yeah, I think that's it for the night. We will see you tomorrow night, same time, 9 p.m. right here on Truth Frequency Radio. Have a good night. Merry meet and merry part, and merry meet again.
As we will, so mote it be, the spell forever done.